Today we're taking a look at the complicated history of Joe and his brother and his pathetic father. Welcome to my YouTube channel where we talk about comic books and stuff. And this is Arcade Kings, Issue 2. We begin our story with the Flash in the past, back to the headquarters of his supposed father, making himself, Joe, and his brother Ken fight. Now I need you to understand, Joe worshipped his father, and they were kids. They did what he asked. Even if they were brothers, Joe tried to be light with his brother. He beat him down, yes, but it was more of like a sparring session. His father, however, was not impressed, especially when he looked at the power level. Ken was not doing anything, but everything became worse when he found out that Joe was holding back this whole time. This pulled a socket in his father's brain. He went crazy, not attacking Joe, but attacking Ken, blaming him, looking to Joe with disappointment. You don't pull your punches. Now, again, and this time, no mercy. And Joe listened. He beat his brother down, drawing blood. Even while he was down, his father wanted him to fatality his ass. There is no room for the weak in this world. But he himself was weak. He had a sickness that was taking a hold of him quick. Trying to save face, he demanded everyone let him be. He's fine. Sending Ken away, he wanted to practice with Joe. And Joe, being a kid who listens to his father, decided, okay, I'm gonna stick with you, father, disregarding his brother's feelings. He was a bad brother. Back in the present, though, we continue our journey with Joe. He was traveling on the countryside inside a train, and he got to a city. This city, however, was abandoned. No one was in sight. Everywhere was closed. The only thing that made him smile was when he found out that this part of the city didn't look at his father like a hero. He was a chump. Switching perspectives real quick, we continue our story with the daughter of a martial artist. You see, she just woke up and she was about to open a shop. Going to the living room, she saw her dad watching TV, and who was on screen? Joe's father, Max. From the look of her face, she looked at this with disgust and turned it off. Her dojo was empty, her city abandoned. She thought of her father as a loser, and everyone around her was going to feel her wrath. Beginning with these kids that for some reason were playing a video game. She asked to see the game. Being too slow, she snatched it herself, and when she saw the game was a game for Max, she lost her cool. How could you? You know what he did to our city. Look around you. We are deserted. We have been forgotten. Matter of fact, I'ma whoop your ass. But before she could, someone stopped her. It was our boy Joe, the dragon fruit head. He doesn't like bullies, so he simply asked, let them play their game, please. But she was too angry. She lashed out. He blocked, and she returned, grabbing his hand and slamming him headfirst into the ground. Now, Joe was strong, but she was strong as well. She laughed. You fight like him. Garbage. Screaming, my name is Plum, and I am better than Max. Joe didn't care though. You started this. I'ma finish it. He tried to strike, both going back and forth, trading blows and she dodging it. Joe was good, but for some reason he was off his game. She stumbled him backwards, saying to him, you're going to have to do better than that. And he said, do I? And she checked her cheeks only to realize he drew blood first. And she was unforgiving because she lashed out, kneeing him directly in his jaw, putting him on his back. She was an expert in taunting because she drew closer and said, yeah, you are way more like Max than you think. But this was not what Joe wanted to hear. Do not compare me to that monster, unleashing the power that lay dormant within him. It was so explosive she flew back and he screamed, you're more like him than you think. At least I'm fighting someone my own size. And then she realized that he was right. Why was she lashing out at these kids? It wasn't their fault her life was shitty. So she got up. Joe introduced himself and asked her if she had seen his brother. She said she hasn't. But mid-conversation, another super-duper crash-out was coming through because Menerva had landed like a goddamn missile. As soon as Joe saw her, he knew what was up, telling everybody to get back. She looked at him and said, Joe, come with me now, or I'm going to put you down. And he said, nah, I'm not going with you. Come get this work. She said, don't be foolish. I trained with your father way longer than you. He was feeling confident. He said, okay, I'm going to show you what I've learned on my own. And he attacked her like he attacked the bot, moving so fast it was hard to follow and ending with one final strike. He thought it was over. Everyone was amazed at his moves, but she wasn't. She literally whispered in his ear too slow before smacking him so hard he flew back, knocked out. But she wasn't done. Menerva was never merciful. Even when a young child stood in front of Joe to protect him, she didn't care. She said, you want to block this path? Okay, stay there. I'ma chop you too. Thankfully, someone else was there who could defend the kids. Plum was quick enough to block this attack from Menerva and strong enough to push her back. Don't fight the kids. Fight me. Let's go. She ran directly for Menerva, but Menerva was quick. She dodged a strike, striking at Plum from above, but Plum was skilled. She grabbed Menerva and slammed her into the ground. But she wasn't done. She was planning to axe kick her skull. But Menerva was quick. She was even impressed. You are good. Sadly, I'm better. 1 inch punching her directly to the kids. At that moment, she knew, yeah, this babe is out of my league. But thankfully, Joe was with her, and he decided, let's run this babe together. Ain't no honor in a street fight. They were ready to beat her down. But Menerva said, do you think 2 of you could take me? She vanished before their eyes, wondering where she was. Sadly, they didn't have to wonder for too long, because she reappeared in their midst, kicking them both apart. She was good. Knowing full well this fight was beneath her, she simply inched towards Joe and said, you want to know a secret? And she told him something that would change this whole story. Back at the base though, her master was displeased. You let him go? How dare you? I need him. But she simply assured him, don't worry, he'll be back. And honestly, it would be better if he was willing. Realizing what she meant, he turned around and asked her, what did you do? And she cracked a smile, saying, I told Joe where his brother was. And she really did. But the thing is, even Plum could tell this was a trap. But Joe assured her that he knew this was a trap, but this was his brother. And she couldn't help but respect it, giving him her fist a bump. You are a real G. Now go save your brother. And we see his brother was actually in the same city, but he was different, currently working at an arcade, tossing out bad guys who sought to cause chaos. Joe's brother was a different man that he ever knew. Sadly, his reunion would never go as smooth as he thought it was going to go. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. God bless you. Peace.